airwaves ignite for the chosen few. He's got the voice, the spirit, and the fire. Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob, taking us higher. He built a palace of cryptids in this lonely space. True Cryptid Encounters, volumes 1 and 2. Coming from the darkness, tell your own tale. He's starting the job out past the setting sun. He's Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob, until the work is done. It's a Bigfoot pirate rock and roll show. On the airwaves, watch the legend grow. Come join the beyond and hear the wild scream. Yeah! Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob. Time to open up your mind. Get ready to rock and roll. Yeah.
There you have it, and boom, boom, everybody. Thank you so much. Wow, right off the bat, well, I can see something. Sir Brian Bowden, a super cat. I like to go swimming with bow-legged women and swim between their legs. Brian Bowden. The super cat's open. Indeed it is, thanks to Brian Bowden. What a great way to start the show with Sir Brian. Since we're at it, we got a new pirate. Cajun May became a pirate. Arr, mateys. Join the many, join the few, depending on your point of view. You too can become a BMR pirate. You can. You know what you get? A picture of good old BMR in the chat room, sporting a bandana. Customized bandanas coming soon. Don't know when. I've been saying it for 3 years now. Coming soon. Coley and Nicole, a.k.a. SNX Radio. Thank you to Super Cats Open. Enjoy the show. From Australia, Aussie Susan, another super cat. Thank you so much. Look at little Mickey, Mickey, another super cat. Thank you, Mickey, for that. Mostly appreciated, greatly appreciated. Of course, Sir Brian. Thank you for that. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for coming on in. If it's your first time here, of course, please subscribe to Bigfoot Mr. Rob on YouTube, The Blondie and the Booze. I mentioned Coley's in the house. You know, Coley and I are doing something called Unhinged. They're Friday nights. They're at 9 o'clock. I got to tell you really quickly, we did an Unhinged Sunday. We just came up with this show. Yes, we did. A guy named Miles Johnston. Okay. E.T. Battlefield. It doesn't matter where you go. Go on Coley's show, SNX Radio, or BMR. You can find it there. Yeah, that show is fantastic. It was unhinged. I'm gonna leave it at that. Subscribe to Coley. Coley's about, I don't know, she's close to 1,000 subscribers. She's about 70, I think. Check her out, Coley. Drop your link. Mods, drop her link. Whatever. Drop the blondes. Drop BMR. Thank you for coming on in. Super Cats, of course, open. We have a great show. Great show. Heather Moser from Small Town Monsters, amongst other things, researcher, experiencer, a writer, an author. I think she's an author. She'll have to correct me on that one. I've known her for a couple of years now. She's awesome. I'm going to bring her up in a moment. Hit that like button. Leave a comment after the show. And before we get started, I'm bringing up the lovely Krista, of course, from the Booze.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Doing good. Doing good.
You know, and how is Roswell doing?
Well,
I just heard him.
He's in his crate tonight, yeah. And he hates the water bottle, squirt bottle.
Yeah.
So when he starts whining. I squirt him. I don't squirt him with the toy because it's what he's supposed to do. But if he starts his whining, because we're just now trying it where anytime anybody comes in the kitchen, he starts whining. So yeah. But he shuts up with that water bottle. All I gotta do is threaten him with it.
That's all you got. Well, good. You're making progress.
We are.
I saw the pictures on Facebook of your friends with Krista. The dog is beautiful. I left you a comment. I think you've probably seen it. Yeah, that dog was badass.
He's something else. And I'll tell you what, I gotta tell you something funny. So we went to the dog park today. Okay. Mm-hmm. We walked first, and then it's a big park thing, So we went on the small dog side because I thought, well, there's a couple big dogs over there, and if there's something happens, I can save them from a small dog. Yeah. So we go over there, and we're sitting there, and he's barking at all these other dogs. He hates them. Yeah. And then this guy walks in with a freaking schnauzer that might be like 10 pounds. Okay. My dog was barking at that dog hiding behind me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hiding behind you? Oh my God.
Yes. And Brian asked, he said, how's my hairy nephew still playing with the toy? So the toy you guys will hear tonight, that toy, you could all thank Brian Bowden for that.
Brian's a great guy. You also, I got to shout out to Brian. I love Brian. He's a great guy. He's got, that's Sir Brian Bowden, Third Eye Live. Brian is gaining in popularity
for Adam's event.
Yeah, he's there for Adam's event. He was in the Myers Village with you guys. Yep. Brian's fantastic. Go check out and subscribe to his channel as well because he does a great job. And I like Brian's shows, a lot of varieties. It's different. It's certainly Sir Brian. He cut his podcast down, I believe, from 4,962 now just to the 1 now. So he's taking a big break. That's off to Sir Brian. So enough of that. Thank you, everybody, for coming on in. Super Cats, Pirates, subscribe to the Blondes. Good old STX. Yes, thank you. With that, I'm waiting. We got our lovely Heather. Sir Brian, another $2 laughing. Yep. Yeah, thank you, Brian. You're too kind. Brian Bowden, thank you so much. Yep. Heather, I'm getting ready to pull you up, girl. And there she is. Hi.
Hi.
It's always a pleasure when you come on, Heather.
It is.
I'm excited to be here. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I've missed you.
No. Yeah, I missed you too. In fact, the last time I saw you was in September. I'm in at the conference that we put together, the conference Crossing Realms.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you had a table not too far from mine, so we got to see each other in person for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a lot of fun. You brought your son down. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I brought my son and my daughter.
And your daughter? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot her.
That's okay. She actually came up at the end of my presentation and talked a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I did want to say something, Heather, because I didn't tell you this in person. And the reason I bring it up now is, I was I'm thanking you because you got a hold of me to do the Dawn of Dogman, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which has been out for several months, but in the last couple of weeks, people have been hitting me up. I just saw you on the fabulous Dawn of Dogman, and people are saying, you did a good job, this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, thank you. And it's just now starting to get traction, I guess, at least people that saw me in it. So I want to thank you for getting a hold of me and getting me on that because I really appreciate that. You don't know how much that means to me. So thank you for thinking of me for that documentary.
Oh man, I'm just excited you were willing to be part of it.
Yeah, I was.
Awesome.
It was a good time. So thank you. I didn't see you there. You were doing other things, but shout out to all your crew over there and Seth and everybody. I had a fabulous time. Great people. You have a great team over there.
Oh, I love them all.
Great people. And so I was thinking of something, I usually start out with tell me about yourself, kind of as the opening, bit, right? And but I don't think I ever really asked you this in any show. Now, of course, you've been on my show a handful of times, and of course, Krista, Blondes and Booze. But so I'm going to backdate this a little bit to get the show rolling. I don't think I ever really asked you though, and I might have. We're all into these fields, the phenomena, whether it's cryptid, UFO, missing people. I mean, whatever. To me, it's all related. It's all together. It meshes, it blends. When did you first, though, get the inkling that you were into the monsters, the unusual? Was it a young age, Heather? I don't think I ever asked you this.
Yeah, it was a young age. I grew up with Unsolved Mysteries, watching that, and even though it scared me a good bit, I mean, it was like this morbid curiosity situation happening with it. I grew up very fascinated with ghosts and monsters. Unsolved Mysteries, though, did give me a fear of spontaneous human combustion, which hasn't happened yet, thankfully, but it was something that I was positive would happen eventually.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of talk, I guess. Well, a lot maybe isn't really fair, but my mom grew up in a house that was haunted, and so I grew up hearing stories about her growing up in a haunted house. So in that way, I guess I was kind of raised as in these things exist, not they might exist. It was, this is a fact, which I'm sure helped me along. But also growing up, there was talk about Bigfoot in the area, people having sightings of that. It's impossible, I think, to not hear of the Loch Ness Monster. That kind of gets thrown in with everything else with the introductory things with cryptids. So I'd heard about that. That one didn't really get my attention too much, but I was aware of it. But ghosts are really kind of where I got started. That's what really had my heart, I guess. And I just always liked the strange and unusual and kind of kept up with that in my spare time just for fun. And when I got older and shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures and all that stuff started, then there was this moment of, wait a second, I can go see these places. I can go look for these things. It was something that hadn't really crossed my mind at that point. But it wasn't until many years later that I was actually in a position to do that kind of thing. But went to college and tried to cling to any kind of weird stuff that I could get integrated into the classroom, because there was a lot of mythology and ancient Rome and stuff like that. So if I could get anything weird to talk about in there. But then whenever I was toward the end of my schooling, I wanted to turn what I had learned research wise to something away from like the ancient world and more into this stuff that had always fascinated me since I was young. And so I started researching cursed objects, or supposedly cursed objects, which led me to the story of the Bell Witch. And that ended up being kind of what led me to being involved with small town monsters, because I had known about them. They'd come across my radar from the first movie that Seth put out with Minerva Monster, because I mean, I live in Minerva now. I'm not far away. So that had piqued my attention. Right. But then a couple years into it, Seth had announced that they were going to be doing Bell Witch at some point. And I reached out and I said, hey, I've done research on that if you want a researcher. And he said, actually, that would be a good idea. And so he brought me on, and then things have just gone from there.
That's awesome.
It's gone from there. And if I remember when I first met you, maybe 2 years ago, I'm guessing you were part-time, but now you're actually full-time into this now with Small Town Monsters, which is awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it's my full-time job, and I have adjunct work as a professor still, so I still get to look at the ancient world a little bit, even though that's not really where my heart is anymore, but it's there, Yeah. So, but yeah, it's full-time, and it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff constantly. I mean, we're bouncing around different subjects, and I mean, when we're getting into things like right now, we're preparing, we're actively piecing together On the Trail of UFOs season 2, which
Cool.
It's a series. And so in a lot of ways, that's more in-depth work that has to be done to get a series together versus a film, because I mean, every episode is roughly the same length as a film. And so it's just been more intensive work lately getting that together. And then we have another series that we're going to be doing, Sasquatch Factor, which again, the same thing. It's going to be the same idea. So yeah.
So when you said you first got in, started with the ghosts and stuff, were you a believer in any of the cryptids, or did you think that was just something like, okay, that's kind of far-fetched, or what was your beliefs about that?
I believed in Bigfoot. That one, for some reason, that one didn't, I don't know. I never doubted that either. If somebody would have said something to me about some of these other cryptids at the time, I probably would have been like, that doesn't even make sense. Like Goatman, what? That doesn't make sense. Or even Dogman would have sounded ridiculous when I was younger, not being in the world of this. But yeah, Bigfoot, for some reason, my brain was like, oh, that makes sense. Sure. So, and I also, in elementary school, there was a classmate of mine whose family had sightings, and they'd been public about it. They actually got a lot of ridicule, if I'm remembering correctly, but I didn't doubt that they had their experiences. So yeah, no, I didn't question that.
Yeah.
I might have missed this in the very beginning because I seen ghosts at a very early age, about 5 or 6, and a UFO at 7 or 8. Did you mention earlier, and I forgive me if it slipped my mind if I just missed it. Did you see a ghost as a kid growing up?
Yeah. So a series of things had happened growing up, and it started with little things like I would hear footsteps down the hallway that at first I would think was my dad, because I mean, you get used to hearing people walking, and it sounded like my dad walking down the hallway. And so I'd wait for him to come back. He wouldn't come back. I'd get up and check. Nobody is awake. All the lights are off. Nobody, so footsteps, things like that would happen. Then it had to have been around middle school, because I was home alone. So, my parents had gone shopping and I was by myself, but we had at the time, like, I think 2 cats and then 3 dogs. And I was sitting in the living room with all the animals in there, just watching TV. The animals are all doing their own thing. And then I noticed that they've all stopped and they're staring behind me. So I turned around and I looked and I saw a man that, didn't look anything like my dad, but my brain interpreted it like it was my dad, as in I didn't get fearful. I felt like safe, I guess. And I looked and I saw him just standing like in the doorway watching looking into the living room. And I turned back around, and then it clicked that isn't my dad and my parents aren't home. And I turned back around and it was gone. That I would say was my first actual visual thing that I had encountered when it came to paranormal stuff. And as an adult, actually going out and doing investigations and stuff, I've seen some weird things. Nothing as clear as that, though. Because that was pretty clear. I mean, it looked like there was a person right there. It looked solid. So, yeah.
Yeah. There's Roswell, I hear, in the background.
I just
spray bottle.
You squirted him?
I did.
Yeah, well, I know you told me earlier. So this is a very clear, image, as you said, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like a person.
Wow.
That's quite the experience. And I always tell everybody really briefly, I'm not going to get into it. I saw ghosts as a kid, but I will tell you this. My ghost did not look like a person at all. And people laugh sometimes when I tell them this, but mine looked like your average ghost that we all seen as cartoon kids, right? It was white with black eyes, and it was just prancing around my bedroom. And I kind of equate it to the ghost in Scooby-Doo. I do. And people say, Rob, you're full of crap, but that's what I saw, right?
Yeah.
And it just went on for about a year. And I always would wake up, run in my mom and dad's bedroom, and they always tell me, as most parents do, you're having a nightmare, things like that. Then the one night I woke up my brother, hoping to get some sort of I don't know, closure, or I wanted my brother to see what I was seeing. I seen this ghost again, wake up my brother, 2 years younger than me at the time. And I see this thing. I'm wide awake. He doesn't see it. And of course, he starts crying because I'm scaring him. We run to my dad's room. It eventually went away, Heather. But I will tell you this. Many years later, in my mid-20s, I got married. And guess what happened? The same damn ghost appeared in my room with my wife at the time, my ex-wife, right? I wake up to show her this thing. And I'm awake and I see it. She goes, "You're crazy. Go back to bed, man." And to this day, I can't figure that one out.
So have you seen that ghost since then?
I've seen it twice as a young boy and my middle 20s.
So that reminds me of Tony Pickman from the Sally House. So he most people know he's a very good friend. And as a kid, he saw this demonic entity as a kid. Fast forward years later, he went to the Villisca Axe murder house. And that same demonic entity was in that house that tortured him as a child. Go figure. So I can't explain it, but I don't know. I think the paranormal on the ghost side of things, there's no time,
Yeah. I've also heard of, and also experienced being with a group of people where everyone sees or hears different things at the same time. So it's not, it's incredibly frustrating to see something and then try to get someone to look with you. But that's happened before especially on investigations where there was a time we were at Licking County Jail here in Ohio, and everybody in the group heard a scream. I didn't hear a scream, and I have no idea why. I was right next to them, and they all reacted at the same time, jumped. They couldn't believe I didn't hear it. And it didn't make any sense. But I don't know. It's something that other people have talked about as well, that it's all that kind of manifests differently for different people sometimes. And I don't understand that either.
Me either. It doesn't make any sense, why I heard it, but you didn't, or I saw it, you didn't, it's crazy. But that's paranormal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't get it.
It's definitely the paranormal indeed.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And some of these things you can't explain. Go ahead, Krista.
I was just going to jump into, and it's been a while since we have talked about that certain place in Tennessee that you have researched.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you went there, and I think when we talked about it, it was on my show, it wasn't even on this one, but when you went there, did your research and things like that, did you pick up on like any negativity, or what were you feeling when you were visiting that location?
So the first time that I went to Adams, I wasn't able to go to the cave because it had rained, and that cave has water running through it, so it was flooded and couldn't go there. But we went around Adams. I didn't get anything, like any sense of anything then. When I got to go back and actually go to the cave and stuff, I think I was just so excited to be there that if anything, something would have had to like smack me upside the head, I think, to get my attention. But there was a moment when we were in the cave that we all heard very clearly a voice, and everybody pauses and we're like, is this really happening? We're so excited. But someone had actually climbed up the cliff from the Red River, and they were at the mouth of the cave yelling down to, I guess, see if they could come in or something. So it was an actual person. But no, I didn't pick up on anything negative when I was there. The only odd thing that happened not that it's I guess maybe not a small thing, but the second time I went there, I had my family with me, and my youngest was completely taken by this one porcelain doll that they had. Because they at least they used to, in the gift shop area, they have these porcelain dolls that they've painted up to look kind of creepy. And there was one doll that caught her attention and she wanted it, and we bought it, but whenever she chose that one, the girl that was behind the cash register was like, if you like that one, there's other dolls here with a dress similar to that. You could take this one instead. If you like that theme, you could take this one. And she was trying to convince her to take another one.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that doll that my daughter was attracted to, apparently the week before we got there, it had been up on the top shelf, which was, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet up. And I guess there were multiple visitors in the gift shop at the time, and it's behind the cash register, the shelving. And it just like flew off of the top shelf and fell to the ground. Didn't break or anything, which is amazing since it is porcelain. But they said it, like, multiple people saw it, I guess, and it literally didn't just tumble; it came off and fell. And so they put it on a lower shelf because they thought, if this is going to be a repeat problem, then we don't want it falling from 6 feet up. So they put it on a lower shelf, which then made it right at eye level for my daughter the next week when we showed up, which I think is why it caught her attention to begin with. But she said that she wanted that doll because the doll needed to come home with us because people were afraid of it, and that wasn't fair, that doll didn't deserve that, and that her name was Sasha, and we needed to bring her home. And so we brought Sasha home. But at the time, there wasn't anything like super, I mean, it was a little unnerving, but
do you still have Sasha?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yep. I brought Sasha to the conference, actually, and brought her and Blair, which is the other one that I got a couple years later from the cave. But yeah, we still have Sasha. And there was a time, I don't know, probably a year after we got Sasha, we had her displayed at the time in the dining room of the house that we lived in. And I was at that time writing in the Weird Writer blog for Into the Fray Radio with Shannon LeGros. And so I was going to write a blog entry about Sasha. And Lily, my youngest, walks in and she sees that I have a picture of Sasha on the screen because I was going to insert it into the blog. And she goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm writing about Sasha." And she said, "Well, you better not make people scared of Sasha. That will make her mad." And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to say anything bad about Sasha. I'm just going to talk about some of the stuff that's happened, because weird things did happen after we brought her home. Nothing horrible or anything. But I mean, weird things. Like there was a candle that it was like a battery operated candle that would be on. And if you turned it off, it would turn back on. Like you could walk out of the room, come back, and it's on. But just that candle, it didn't matter. If we put any other candles by her, it was that candle for whatever reason, but I don't know. And there would be times that my daughter would insist that, you got to get her off the shelf. She's bored. She wants to watch TV with me or whatever. And, so I don't know.
So where does Sasha sleep now?
Sasha is up in the back end of the office here, not far from Blair, even though to begin with, whenever Blair got brought home, I was told that they can't be together. But they are. They're together now. There hasn't been any issues, and nothing's ever happened with Blair, at least that I've noticed. So yeah, no, she's in the back of the office now.
So they're friends now, basically.
I guess. As far as I'm aware, at least they're on friendly terms or tolerable terms.
Yeah. Well, you know all the stories, of the Bell Witch Cave and, even talking about her, bring bad things and stuff. So I was just curious, if you had anything negative or anything happen.
No, I never had anything negative happen when it came to the Bell Witch. It was really, I don't know, weird things would happen while we were, like when I was researching for the Mark of the Bell Witch movie that STM did, just like weird dreams and stuff, where this figure showed up that looked, like the stereotypical witch looking thing. I remember her pretty vividly that showed up, and
do you think
she just seemed pretty happy that we were doing something?
Right. So do you think that could have been just like a, hey, I know what you're doing and what you have going on?
I don't know, because in my dream, I was with the crew and we were down in Adams and we were at the cave, and this was before I had been down there. So I didn't know what the gift shop looked like or anything like that. I didn't know anything about it, about how the whole setup was to even get to the cave and all that. But I was in communication with Kara, who was one of the tour guides of the cave. And so we'd been talking back and forth, and I had this dream that we were all down there, and I dreamt that we had walked down this long like path, and we came up to this wooden building, this little wooden building. And when you went inside, there were glass like display cases with stuff in it, and then there were places to sit, and everybody in the crew kind of sat down, and I sat next to this person that had like a dark outfit on and a hood over their head. And at some point she like sits up, and I can see her face, and her face was like, I don't know, she had like this sickly gray skin. Her eyes were like a cloudy white. And her teeth were pretty sharp. And the only thing I remember her saying was something like, I'm going to have fun with you guys. And I was like, okay, well, maybe she's aware that they're coming. I don't know. I took that as a thing, but I had dreams like not with that particular visage of her, but I had dreams about her a handful of times while that movie was being made. And then once it was made, that was it. I didn't really have any dreams of her after that. So I don't know. I always took it as, okay, she's noticing, or it's noticing, whatever, and is happy about it. And then it was done, and okay.
Yeah. And like, she approved or something.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Cause oddly enough, the way the timing went, and this wasn't on purpose either, that movie ended up coming out almost to the day, I think, of the anniversary of John Bell's death, that the witch supposedly had killed him. So that it must have been 2020 then, because he died in 1820. So it was like the 200-year anniversary, I believe, that just happened to fall, and that was not planned. So that was interesting.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I think, do you believe that when you go to the same locations over and over, like you yourself, that the entities know you and remember you?
Hey, really quickly, so. I got to stretch this. My hip's starting to hurt me a little bit. I'll be right back in a second. I got to stretch it out.
No worries.
We got this.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I think that to be the case. I've seen it appears from the times that I've gone out on investigations with people who have been to places multiple times, that it's almost, sometimes it's almost like activity will start right away.
Yeah.
Where if we're new to a place, that's not necessarily the case. Stuff may end up happening later, but it's not just right off the bat usually.
Right.
So
I agree with you on that, because like I've been to like the Ray County Museum. I can't even tell you how many times, over 100 times I've been there. And I feel like when I go there, there's certain spirits there that know me, like, I just, it's almost like they come up and greet me,
I think that makes sense. I think it makes sense. And I think also, even if you're not familiar with the place, I've seen it between the investigations. The attitude that people have when they walk in will directly affect the kind of activity that you have.
And your intentions and all of that, I think.
Yeah, because I've been with groups that have more like a more aggressive approach sometimes, or can get that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, you do get results from that, but it is more aggressive in return versus when you go in and like, if I go in to a place and there's anything like if there's a bouncy ball anywhere, I'm grabbing that ball and I'm going to bounce it around the building. I'm going to play around. And then usually you get more levity with the responses. If you get any, it seems anyway, at least in my experience.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I was just at Emmaus Village this week, or Emmaus Asylum. It's truly an asylum. Past weekend for Adam from Half Inch Wrench Crew's benefit from his housewife. And I was up in, I guess it was Friday night. I broke my own rules. I never I don't know why I did it, but I did it. Like, I never asked them to touch me or do anything like that, because that's opening yourself up and inviting them in. So I was up on the 3rd floor and there was an inmate that was in there for a long time. And his name was Mad Albert, what they called him. And here I am, I'm sitting in there in Mad Albert's cell. I'm like, hey, you can touch my hair, make my hair stand up. And after I got done doing that, I'm like, you are so stupid, Krista. Like, you totally just broke your rules. Like, what the heck was I thinking when I did that? So, of course, I had to, I grounded myself. I was like, you can't go home with me. I did all the whole, 9 yards and go away.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely been situations where I've not been myself in some ways, and I feel like it has to do with the place. I'm thinking specifically about Madison Seminary here in Madison, Ohio, and there was one night, I don't know what triggered it, but I was there with a group and we went to one room that's pretty popular. And there was activity happening, like the meters and stuff were going off, like they were getting activity. And I just had this feeling of, I guess the best way I could describe it is like an angsty teenager, where I was like, oh, this is so boring. I don't want to be in here. Like, why are we spending so much time in this room? This room gets all the attention. There's other rooms. And so I walked away from the group and went down the hallway. And when I separated from the group, a couple friends followed me because they knew that wasn't normal. And I walked into a room and I was like, why don't we just investigate in here? Like, nobody talks about this room, but there's probably something here or whatever. And I convinced them to come down to this room. Still not, I mean, I knew I wasn't feeling myself, but I wasn't, I guess, aware enough to be like, whoa, something's up. Don't listen to what I'm saying right now. But we went in there and I was like, I want to do the Estes method. And they were like, okay. And so we sit down and it was the first time putting on the headphones and turning the spirit box on that I heard pure static and no radio stations, which made no sense. Because I mean, when it's flipping through the channels, you do get blips of, even if it's just a fraction of a word, but you can hear voices. This was just straight static. So that should have been an indicator that something was off, I suppose. But whatever, I stayed under and nothing was coming through. And I guess at that point, this is what I've been told, because it was dark and I had my headphones on. So everything from this point I got after the fact. But I guess when stuff wasn't coming through, they decided to remove the cover on the mirror in the room, because they've covered all the mirrors in Madison because of other incidents that have happened and feelings they have. So they removed the mirror. And as soon as they removed it, I started talking, I guess. And the next thing that I know, like I remember words starting to come through. I don't remember what they were, but I remember words coming through. And then the next thing that I'm aware of, I'm getting tapped on the shoulder and being told, you need to go ground yourself outside. We need to go. And I was like, okay. And as I'm walking down, the two women that were with us that actually work at Madison were coming down the stairs with me, and we get down to the bottom floor and they look at me and they're like, were you serious in there? And I'm like, what do you mean? And apparently I started saying like threatening things to one of them, like specifically. She said she had the feeling, Shelly had the feeling that she should come over and sit near me because she was on the other side of the room. So I guess she walked over and she came and she sat next to me. And when she did that, I started saying threatening things toward her specifically.
But yet you don't remember saying those.
I don't remember saying anything. And when that started, and I started like threatening her, which also is not at all like me as a person.
Right.
I start saying these threatening things to her, and they flip the flashlight on and shine it at my face. They said my eyes were open and I was looking at them. Like I looked at the flashlight, my eyes are open. I don't have any recollection of that. I don't know how that wouldn't have woken me up or pulled me out of it or whatever, a bright light in my face, but it didn't. So they had to shake me to get me out of it. Anyway, so I was confused. I thought they were messing with me when they're like, are you serious? You know, you threatened to hurt me. And I was like, okay, no, I didn't. Like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I walked outside and I was fine on the concrete of the back porch and then the pavement of the drive. But as soon as I got into the grass, I started coughing really bad. And it felt like something was stuck. Like, you know how sometimes if you get a lot of drainage or mucus or whatever, sometimes things can they need to break free. Yeah. That's what it felt like. And I was like heaving, doubled over. My friends had to come out. They helped me walk around and eventually it went away. But since then, anytime I've gone back to Madison, if I do go under for Estes, it's like I think it's like 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes ish that I can stay under. And after that, that cough starts up again. So I don't know what that was, but that was lost time because I don't remember any of that stuff. I've never had a reaction like that. I've never acted like that, even leading up to it. So I don't know.
It sounds
what that
like
was all about.
You really, I don't know what's going on my hip. I cannot sit down. Can you just continue? I just can't do it.
Rest, Rob. I got this. Me and Heather.
I'm sorry, Heather. Everybody.
You're okay.
You're good.
I just hate doing this, but I just can't sit. It's killing me for some reason.
It's all good.
You're fine.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Right,
hey, Heather, thank you so much.
At least get in your own dang chat.
Yeah, I'll be. I'll have it on the phone. I'll be standing up. Thanks, Heather.
We're good.
No problem.
Right, bye.
See you, Rob.
I don't know how to get out of here without ending the stream. What do I do, Krista?
Just X out on your
leave studio. It says leave studio.
Leave studio. You want me to kick you out of your own studio?
Kick me out. I don't want to screw it up.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Well. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so to me, it sounds like that you were jumped. Honestly.
Yeah. I think so now, looking back on it. At the time, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. It was just so odd. And I don't really do anything before these investigations. I don't really do much to like shield myself, which I know that is controversial to some people, but also in my experience, the times that I have like gone through the effort to do that, then nothing ends up happening. And so I don't know if I got to find like I got to walk a real fine line on what to do.
Right.
But yeah, I hadn't done anything that night to shield myself, but that wasn't the only night that I hadn't done that either. So And it wasn't the first time that I was at Madison. I'd been there before. So I don't know what it was about that night or what was going on, but
I have witnessed myself there at the ranch where an entity was jumping from person to person that night. So I kind of get what you're talking about. I fully 110% believe that you were jumped by something. I mean, you don't have the time. You didn't act like yourself. You know, there was a lot of things. Did they say how long that you were not you?
Well, I mean, thinking back, I wasn't me even before we sat down for the Estes thing, because that's not my normal feelings. And I wouldn't walk away from the group and be all whiny like that. But I think that it was an extended session that they had me under. It was like 40 minutes or something that I had been under. And I don't know at what point things got nasty. I don't know how long that had been going on. I don't think it was very long once it got to that point that they let it go on before they pulled me out. But
I think once they uncovered the mirrors, like, you know, I believe mirrors are openings, you know, they opened it up. Come on in, you know. So yeah, that's why it's the paranormal, you know, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I tell a lot of people that's new to starting this kind of stuff, you know, go with somebody who knows what they're doing. Don't ever go alone, because in an instance like yours, that could have turned bad for you, you know? It really could have.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. But I always encourage people, never go alone, and always go with somebody who has been there and done that, you know, that can kind of back.
Yeah, I think it's also important to go with people that you trust, because I was fortunate enough that the first group that I went with, and then I went on subsequent ones with them as well. From the very beginning, they were very open, and they said, listen, if you feel anything, you know, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, you say it. We want to know. Do you feel something? Did you see something? You know, did you hear something? Say it, and don't be, regardless of what it is or how silly it is, just say it. We promise we're not going to judge any of that. And that was very helpful, because when stuff really starts to get weird, if you don't feel comfortable saying that, then you don't know if other people have experienced it at the same time and everybody's just being quiet, or if you're going crazy.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the thing too. Like you also mentioned, you know, going with somebody, you know, because somebody, you know, knows you as a person. You know, if you went with these people, they didn't know you as a person. They could have just said, oh, she's a whiny baby, but they knew, you know?
Yeah. So exactly.
Definitely that, you know, you're changing. There's something going on here.
Yeah. They knew something was up the minute that I walked out of the room where stuff was actively happening. But no one was aware that it was going to get to the point that it did. But
Right. Have you ever done the God's helmet?
I have not. I have not. I would have to be, again, with people that I trust very much.
Absolutely.
To do that, because it's unnerving. I've seen people do it, not in person. I've seen people like online or whatever do it, and I'm very intrigued by it. But I would have to be with people that I completely trust and could help walk me through things, like people who've experienced it before.
So
I don't want to be the guinea pig.
Exactly. Our good friend Terry, she has one, and it was made by Katie Stafford, and we had it there Saturday night, and you know, it's pretty interesting because so many people have so many different type of experiences with it. You know, some people see the ghost that's right there in the building. Some people, Paranormal Paul in chat, he saw his loved ones. I know others who have seen aliens. Go figure. You know, I don't know if it's, I don't know. I don't get it, but you know, I've had people who will never do it again, that it scared them so bad, you know? So
yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, so we used it Saturday night, and you know, it's just a 15-minute session. We tap you out after, you know, the 15 minutes, just because you have these crazy lights blinking in your eyes, and you know, that could be on a you know, a health issue, a dangerous
Sure.
So
yeah.
What's your favorite piece of equipment?
Probably, I mean, I really like doing the Estes. So I would say spirit box, but only if I have headphones, because it drives me insane when it's just going off the speaker. Because one, the speaker is poor. It's a poor speaker, but it's also very difficult to focus for some reason when it's not directly in my ears. So I really like that. But other than that, I don't know. It's always interesting if you can get a flashlight to do the on and off thing, like on command, where it makes sense, or, you know, like it's actually intelligently responding. That's always neat. But I don't know. Some of the coolest stuff has happened when we haven't been using any equipment. So if we're not doing the Estes thing, I prefer to just kind of feel the area, just in general, sense it, and kind of get it. If you don't take time to begin with, if you don't take time to like get a sense of the sounds of the building, or wherever you are, and just what's a normal, you know, what's a normal 15 minutes in this building with nothing going on, then you're not going to know if, I mean, maybe when the heat kicks on, there's an awful sound or something. You know, the first house that my husband and I had, when the people who owned it previously had the what was it, the water heater or something in the basement, they had scheduled to turn on like once a week at like 2 or 3 in the morning, I guess, because they were sleeping and they knew it was loud. They didn't warn us of this, and the first night that it went off, I thought there was a woman being murdered outside of our house, because it was the most awful sound. Eventually I got used to it, but you know, if when you first hear it, it sounds awful. If I had been on an investigation and had thought that was paranormal somehow, but I mean, you just got to get used to those kind of things. So I think, and also when we're busy looking at equipment, we're not using our own senses. And I think we have more to our own senses than we give ourselves credit for, because we don't use it as much. Yeah. So, and I think the same thing goes with, I mean, now I end up doing a lot more cryptid related stuff than paranormal these days, just because of work. But I think it's the same thing if you're out looking for anything, you know, just sit for a bit and see what happens before you start whipping out all the equipment.
Absolutely.
Not that can't be helpful, but
I never ever use equipment. Very rarely will you ever see me use anything, and if I do, it might be a recorder, and that's it. Because I feel like there's so many people that are looking down and looking at their K2 meters or mel meters, whatever, and they miss a full-bodied apparition walked right in front of them. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, like we had the group that I was with for a while. They had a like an SLS thing, and that was cool to watch, to like look at. But that bright screen in your face, you can't. If you're walking in a narrow area, you got to have somebody guiding you, because you can't see. It blinds you to the rest of the room, which would be the same as looking at your phone or something the whole time in a dark area. And it's cool to see the figures or whatever, but I don't know.
You know, I like doing the Estes method, and last time I did it, I was at Adam from Half Inch Fringe Crew at his house, or his brother Shelby's house is where I was doing. We were doing it at, and you know, like the intelligent answers that we were getting from there was just like amazing. But then sometimes I've done the Estes method where it just throws out random stuff that makes no sense to what everybody else was asking. Because, you know, I was like, you know, even the intelligent answers that I was getting when I was wearing it, they told me it's answering all the questions, and I'm like, holy cow, because just say what you hear. That's it, So I wonder why too. Sometimes, they're pretty intelligent, and then other times it's just gibberish,
Yeah, we've had obviously where you put it on and it doesn't really make any sense, if anything even comes across, because sometimes there's really nothing that comes through. And I don't mean just plain static like that one weird time, but you hear the radio stations going through and nothing really is clear, say. But I've had instances where it seems like intelligent responses, like they're answering whatever is answering the questions. But then there's also been some really cool stuff that's happened when we've had two people on.
Yep.
But in opposite areas.
Yep.
And like the one time, I don't even know the purpose of what had happened, but we were on like opposite sides of this basement, and then the rest of the group was like in the middle. And they were asking questions, but I mean, and obviously we couldn't hear them but we were so far apart because it was a pretty big building. So they're asking questions. I don't even know if we were answering things that made sense, but at one point I heard what sounded like Pac-Man. It was the weirdest thing. And so I just said out loud, I'm like, I think I just heard Pac-Man. Or I didn't say Pac-Man, an arcade game. I think I heard an arcade game turn on. Like it sounded like it was plugged into the wall. And then across the basement, Travis said Pac-Man. That's what it was. He was like, that was Pac-Man or something, as he was under. But that was really weird. Another time we did that and we were on opposite sides again. And it was almost like we were having a conversation with each other. And it didn't matter what they were asking. We were not responding to them. We were just talking back and forth. Then the other weird time, this only happened once, but we were in, I think this was again the Licking County Jail, and we were in the basement down there, but we weren't answering questions, but we were like describing a scene or something. So there was a moment that I think I had said something about I don't know if it was a guy preaching or whatever. I can't remember because I don't remember what I say when I'm under. Is this after the fact when we're talking about it? But it was something about a man. And then Travis is like describing the man. As soon as I would say something like, he's talking or he's preaching or whatever, then he would say, yeah, like tall guy, dark hair and whatever. Like he was seeing the same thing, which was really odd. But I've not experienced that since then.
Yeah. Let's change gears. Let's do the last hour or so of this show. Let's talk about the cryptid side of things. Because I know, I watch every Small Town Monsters that comes out. I know you have activity right there, or you have had activity right there in your place.
Yep. Yeah. And that's as you know how we ended up with the Bigfoot Project series, because stuff had started shortly after we moved in here, like within a few weeks actually, and it had started because Lady Ann had come in to stay with me for a little bit, and we were doing some ghost investigation stuff. And I said, well, why don't we just go up in the woods? Because that would be cool. I've never really like investigated a woods. So we go up to the woods and we put out all this equipment and like put a blanket down so that we could sit and just be. And she got really uncomfortable. And she said, we can't be in here. We got to go out. We got to get out of the woods. So we go out and we get out in the middle of this big open field. And she's like, okay, I feel comfortable here. And I was like, well, a big open field doesn't really feel creepy to me. So why don't we play the Ohio Howl on my phone? And just for fun, let's just see. I had never like looked for Bigfoot or anything like that. So we played it and we got a response like immediately. And then at that time, I was really stoked because I was like, this is unreal. Like, this is so cool. Yeah. She's freaking out. And she was like, you got to take me back to the house now. So I take her back to the house, and then I go back out with my friend and my husband, and we go back out, and we're facing we're on the side by side, and we're facing the woods where all the noise had come from. And we were still I actually had gotten a Bluetooth speaker at that point, so I could really boost the sound.
Right.
And we were getting responses. I mean, we would whistle. Well, I wouldn't whistle, but the guys would whistle because I can't whistle. But the guys would whistle. We'd get a whistle back. Like, we were getting clear responses. And then for some reason, we were like, well, let's go into the woods and see what happens. And we started toward the entrance to the woods. And when we got, I don't even know, within a handful of feet, there was this massive crash. It sounded like, not like a huge tree, but it sounded like a decent sized tree was just ripped over and knocked over. And we took that as a sign of that we shouldn't go further. So we went back to the house, and then little things had happened since then. I went up in the woods later, and I saw where I had put out like stones that I had put out initially for my kids to find when they got older. The one stone had been taken, and in its place was a deer vertebrae, like placed in the exact same spot. And so then I called Seth, and I'm like, this is going to sound ridiculous because I work for Small Town Monsters, but like, stuff's happening. And so he came out, and we were able to film stuff, and we got some stuff like on camera, some activity. And then things kind of went quiet, but there was also a lot of digging, like pipeline had gone through, and everything got really quiet for a few years. Then last year, so I guess, I don't even know, has it been like 3-4 years, something like that, since the show was filmed? But last spring, stuff started up again. But this time it was really close to the house. And I was not as much of a fan of that, because everything we filmed for the Bigfoot project, and like even when Lady Ann and I were up there, that wasn't at the house. We're on a farm. We've got, a decent amount of land. We were not by the house. And even when we filmed at the hunting cabin in the back, that's not anywhere near the house. So in one way, that was really cool. That was probably why I was also more excited. Like, it didn't cross my mind that anything would come to the house. But last spring, when stuff started, something came up and like knocked on the window at one point and scared the kids. I started putting out recorders at night, and I caught something like walking into the barn, which is just right beside the house. And like you hear it come in, you can hear it walk into the barn. You can hear it like touch stuff, like tap along the four-wheeler, because it sounds like plastic it's tapping. You can hear it huff. You can hear it like grab things and like move them around, like it was trying to figure out what it was. And then you hear it walk out. But while it's in there, it's in there for a while. Things kind of get quiet, and I don't know what was happening. But then you hear a like a knock in the distance, and then it does like a quieter knock back. And so then I was like, okay, I wonder if there were two of them, and they were trying to locate where each other were, or whatever. But I don't know. A handful of weird things happened, and that was, it was over the span of just a couple months. It was in the spring. It was around this time last year that stuff had started. But when the tapping on the windows of the house and stuff, I was like, well, this is a little too much. This is a little too close.
Too close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your beliefs about so last Thursday on Blondes, we had Ann and Ken on, and she did mention about her little encounter there at your house that you talked about. But we talked about the difference with flesh and blood versus the woo. And what are your thoughts about it all being connected, with all of this weird stuff we do?
I think that it is all connected in some way. Bigfoot's kind of tricky in that I'm not sure. I mean, obviously nobody knows what any of this stuff is, because we don't have definitive proof. But I've talked with enough people that have had and researched, like they've had encounters, and then researchers in general, that I feel like they're at times there's definitely evidence for physical animal. Like there is an animal out there, a creature of some sort. But there's also been plenty of reports that have some sort of paranormal aspect to them, or something really weird has accompanied it. And I don't know if that's the same thing. It may manifest the same way, but I kind of wondered if there isn't like a trickster type element to the whole thing, where something is just, I don't know, mimicking things just for the sake of mimicking them. So I don't even know if those are the same things. But when it comes to like cryptids versus UFOs versus paranormal and all of that, I feel like we're not going to get any type of clarity on anything until everyone starts talking.
Right.
Because right now, I mean, there are people that kind of dabble in all of them or open to all of them, but there are other people. It's such a strict divide between each subject.
Sure.
Like somebody could believe in Bigfoot or Dogman or something, but they don't believe in ghosts, which
there's no way, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there are people that are like that, but I feel as if we start talking amongst these groups and you start finding some similarities between them, because there are similarities when you start looking. There's some overlap, and maybe there's some answers in those pieces that overlap.
Absolutely. I agree more.
Yeah.
Although I gotta say, last Thursday, Ken had some really good points about the flesh and blood.
Yeah.
He really did. And mine and Brandy's encounters, the first one was 100% flesh and blood. There was nothing wonky, nothing woo. Like we heard it, saw it, everything was right there. However, when we were down in Fouke, Arkansas with Will Lunsford, we not only saw them and heard them, but we were seeing the red orbs. Coincidence or not? Yeah. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in coincidence.
Yeah. And that's why I like, I mean, I've talked with people who found like the nests. You have the footprints that are found. I mean, something came up and knocked on the window. I heard it walking in the, like I heard all of these physical, like a physical creature would have to make those markers, which is why I think some of this other stuff may not be what we consider Bigfoot. It's just, I don't know, something disguising itself as. I don't know. I don't even understand. I mean, who are we to understand, I guess, what something like that would even want to be doing or why it would be doing it. But I kind of feel like some of the weird stuff, it may not be the same thing that is the flesh and blood creature. Yeah,
very quite possibly, and even like, people talk about like it could be misidentified beings too, as far as like, there's the Gugways and the Genosquas, and who's to say they're just not rogue Bigfoots?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there could definitely be some of that. And I think we're also kind of bound to the words that we know. Like you've got to, when you're characterizing something that you saw or experienced, you only have your vocabulary to go off of and the things that you know. So, I mean, if the closest thing you can say is, oh, that was a Bigfoot, I mean, that's what you could say. And then maybe it wasn't exactly that, but that's the only thing you have in your vocabulary to even come close to what you saw.
Right. Absolutely. What is the one thing that you have never seen, excuse my English, that you want to see?
I don't know. Because I don't ever want to see a dog man. That's like not even close. I have no desire for that. I don't even know if I'd want to see Bigfoot, because I mean, I believe in that. We've heard them around. I mean, stuff's been thrown. Like I have no doubt that they've been around, but then still to see one, I feel like is a whole other ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I want to see one. Because right now I'm not afraid of going outside. And I guess I shouldn't be afraid anyway, because if they're around, they're around. And if they wanted to hurt me, they would have by now.
Right.
But I still think it would take me some time if I saw one. I mean, depending on where it was, I guess. I think it would take me some time to go back out in the woods. So
I get it.
I don't know.
Yeah, you really don't know how you will react, because I always thought, oh man, out, big and bad out there in the woods. And when I was in that by myself and that sucker come by my tent and I saw the shadow and the conical head, I was flipping my crap. I'm not kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I was freaking out, and I never thought I was that person that would freak out on something like that, and like Brandon told many times, and right after that, believe it or not, I went to sleep, but it was that adrenaline rush,
Sure. Well, in that moment, I would assume, I don't know, because I haven't experienced that, like a visual sighting with a cryptid, but I feel like in that moment, there has to be a realization of, that could kill me right now.
Right.
If it wanted to. And, all of a sudden you're not, I guess, the biggest thing in the woods.
Yeah.
Not that you always are, because I mean, we got grizzly bears and stuff, but not here, but you know what I mean? But there's no doubt that if something like that exists and it is right outside your tent, that if it wanted to just reach out and grab you, it could break you in half really easy. I don't know.
Yeah. That's true, because, there was a bunch of us camping when we had our encounter, and it could have got any of us. And honestly, it could have got me and got away with, like, I could have been a missing 411, because I mooned Bigfoot. When I went to bed, I went behind the tent and I peed. I did. Dropped my drawers and I peed. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the next day, we followed the push trail and all of that, and you could see where it was sitting watching right behind my tent. So I fully believe I mooned Bigfoot.
Maybe that's why he walked by your tent.
Maybe so. I don't know. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing. And that's where he kind of came up through, was behind my tent. So it was a crazy encounter, for sure.
Yeah.
And, do I want to have that encounter again? Yes. Just not in a tent by myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had, I had no pew-pews. I had nothing in there with me.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that makes people feel better, but I don't know if something that big, if it would matter. It depends on what you have with you, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and again, it was, 3:00 in the morning and everybody was sleeping, which, come to find out later after that encounter, nobody was sleeping there. It went on down, and we had like a time where everybody heard it, go on down.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was really cool. We got 14-inch prints right behind my tent. I mean, it was crazy. So that next morning I was kind of flipping my crap,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. What is the one cryptid creature that scares you the most? I know you mentioned Dogman, but there's a whole bunch of them out there.
Mm-hmm. So Dogman, obviously, that one terrifies me. I would never want to see a Wendigo.
Yeah.
And I would never want to see a goat man. I don't like goats as they are, because their eyes freak me out. So I can't even imagine one walking.
That's funny.
But those are the ones that probably scare me the most.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything would be terrifying, but Wendigo, I don't have any desire to run into those.
Or, for me, I guess it would be like a gugway. That's a face eater, Yeah. Yeah. Who wants to come across a face eater, right?
Yeah. How'd you get that name, sir?
Yeah. And that's a good question, because who survived a good way to name it that?
Yeah.
Just saying, I don't know. Why do you suppose? I believe that, like there's good and bad and everything, and even Bigfoot. So why do you think the same thing? Like, there's good Bigfoot with good intentions, and then there's the negative ones with not so good intentions.
So I would think that when it comes to, if we're talking like flesh and blood creatures, that it would be like any other animal, in that everyone has a different type of temperament.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that it would be unreasonable to make the leap that some are going to be more aggressive or easily irritable than others. And I think some of it also has to do with the location. I can't remember now who brought this up, but it made total sense to me when they said it, that like Sasquatch that you hear about in like Alaska tend to be more aggressive, the encounters that you hear about, than something, say, here in Ohio. One of the differences that was pointed out to me is that a place like Alaska, everybody's so far removed, it's not as heavily populated, so those creatures are not in contact with humans as much to get used to them. So by nature, they may be more aggressive. I mean, also, if you take into account that they have to like fight for their food, and they've got grizzlies to deal with and all this other stuff, but they're not as used to humans potentially, where ones that are in more heavily populated areas are already used to watching us and seeing our routines, and they're not going to be as I guess irritated by our presence. I mean, some of them could take advantage of our presence in that you leave garbage out, or whatever. We were out filming a couple weeks ago, actually, and talking with a researcher down in West Virginia, and he had mentioned following or looking at dumpster sites at parks, state national parks, because I mean, campers are there all the time. They leave food in the dumpsters, and then once they're gone, it's really easy to just walk down there and grab whatever they want.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think it makes sense that there would be different temperaments. I don't know. I don't think that anything's going to be like mean for the sake of being mean necessarily. Yeah. I think it would be just a temperament issue.
Right. Or a territorial issue. Or
yeah. I don't think they would be mean like how humans can be mean necessarily. Right. But I guess that's also assuming that they're not as human.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what they're like.
Yeah, absolutely. I have no idea either. You mentioned Alaska, and do you like Portlock? Do you believe that it's, the stories that go back? I believe it's true. I believe that happened. Do you believe it's Bigfoot, or what do you believe? Do you even believe that happened?
So honestly, I haven't looked into Portlock too much. I mean, I know that it was a settlement that supposedly was abandoned because they were kind of pushed out. But I've also heard that part of the reason, like a large part of the reason they left, is just because stuff fell through, like as far as industry, and they had to leave. I don't know. I haven't looked into that one enough to have formed an opinion on it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, I just, I do believe that something did happen. I'm just not sure it was a Bigfoot. Maybe, we were sitting here talking about these other creatures. Maybe it was some sort of face eater or something,
Yeah.
That would scare these people away, supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know. I should know more about Portlock, but I don't. I wonder how long the settlement was there prior to them getting run out. Like, why would it have been at that moment, like that period of time,
right.
It would have been like, all right, that's enough, get out.
Right. Well, I think there was like quite a few buildings and things going on, so they had to have been there for a little bit, to get everything built. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have no. I don't know.
I don't know, but I want to go.
You can. You just Talk to the right people, they'll get you out there.
Right.
Because we went to, which we didn't have the time when we went. It just didn't work into the schedule. But we went to Alaska to film once, and that was not on the list of places to get to, because it's not, I mean, that's not something you can just do in an afternoon either, because you have to get on a boat, get all that scheduled, and then you got to make sure that the water is even going to permit you to get out there, because the tide can be pretty bad, or the waves can get really nasty. So yeah.
Very cool. So what does Heather Moser and Small Town Monsters have coming up?
So the next thing that will be coming out is the Kinderhook Creature, which is, I mean, the Kinderhook Creature is known because of stuff that happened with the Hallenbeck family back in the 80s. And so the story kind of follows along with Bruce. There are other people obviously involved in it and other stories that are told, but Bruce kind of recounts all this weird stuff that happened around the place where he grew up. So that's the next thing that is coming out, like an actual film. Of course, when it comes to YouTube stuff, we have stuff coming out every week. So it's either like a bit on the trail. Yeah. I mean, we try for 2 times a week. Every once in a while we might go down to 1. But that's only maybe once a month. But I mean, our goal is to get like 7 things out a month. So
well, you guys do a great job, because I watch everything you guys put out.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't miss it. Conferences or anything this year?
So Courtney Breedlove and I are MCs for the Ohio Bigfoot Conference.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, and that's like the very first couple days of May there. So that's pretty much it. People have talked to me about other conferences, but the problem is it's very hard if things are too far out for me to really commit, because of the filming schedules. I don't know. I usually only know a couple months ahead of time, maybe. And sometimes I have a rough idea, like, sometime in September we may do, but I don't know when. So it's really hard. So right now I don't have anything officially booked. But we'll see, because it is fun to get out there and present and talk to people and meet new people and see old friends.
We've seen each other at a couple conferences now. So I don't know. I just I love doing the conferences, and I love meeting the people, and like you said, seeing old friends and meeting new. So that's what it's about for me.
Yeah, I mean, they're always fun, because you see the people that you work with or are in the community with, but then you get to meet these people that you otherwise wouldn't get a chance to see, and they may even share an encounter that they had, and it's nice to be around. It's nice to be around people that are like-minded in that way, and you can talk about this weird stuff and not get a sideways glance
or eye roll or something.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I want to invite you guys out to Emmaus Asylum anytime. We have the trifecta going on out there. I'm not kidding, Heather. It's totally haunted. We have Miguel with Sasquatch Theory, and Adam, Half Inch Wrench Crew, and myself and Brandy. We've done the cryptid side of things out there. We've gotten howls. Natalie got a 17-inch print out there. It is crazy. And it's just a mile away from what I nicknamed Dogman Road, because there was a Dogman sighting right there. And one night we looked up in the sky, and I kid you not, we've seen over 20 UFOs.
Whoa.
The place is amazing.
It's one of those hot spots, it sounds like.
Missouri, you give me a call.
All right, will do.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And I know Rob does too. Everybody send Rob some good juju, because he's really in a lot of pain. So yeah, poor guy. For him to walk out of his own show, like, I know he was hurt.
Yeah.
Rob do that,
Absolutely.
Definitely. I've been co-hosting with him for 4 years now, and this is only the second time I've ever done a show, like by myself. And it's a good thing I know you and we're friends, so it wasn't like that,
Yeah, it was just talking. That's all.
Yeah,
that's right.
So it's all cool. Anyway, thank you, everybody. And let's see. Let me thank everybody for Rob here. Cajun May, new member. Coley, thank you. Aussie Susan, thank you. Mickey G, thank you very much. Mr. Brian, there you go. And Mr. Brian again, appreciate it. So everybody tune in tomorrow night to Blondes and Booze. Brandy's show will be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. And then Thursday morning is Rob and Monica back on this channel. Hopefully he's better by then. So anyway, appreciate everybody, and we'll see you. We'll see you soon. Good night.
Thanks for watching Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob, and beyond. Join the many. Join the few. Tuesday night p.m. Eastern, the squad is complete. Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we bring the heat. Saturday 11 p.m. Eastern, the fire is on, the hunt is on, the roar is strong. Hit subscribe, ring the bell.